Hello, you probably clicked in this video to see how to animate. I don't really know how you animate on Blender or anything like that. So we're going to use Moon Animator. If you don't have Moon Animator, what you do is you can go from home or view, it's the same thing, but so from home you can just press home, right? And then find toolbox, or from view, go to view and then just search until you find toolbox and then just click on it, right? And you're gonna go here, right? So this is the toolbox where you can find multiple models, audio decals and etc. Be careful about the plugins, right? Then what you're going to do, you're going to type in Moon Animator, right? And what does this mean? I think it's this one. I missed this one. What you're going to do is by this guy. Make sure it's by this dude because it might be fake. If not, it's the one I near to. You're going to press install. I just updated it. Didn't really need to install anyhow. So now you go into plugins and you should see this. It's like a moon. A moon animator is going to have a moon on the UI. It's going to be in the section like you see how there's audio discovery, gap filters, geom tools. There's going to be a moon animator too, which is your plugin for moon animator. And then what you do is you just, by the way, if you can see this, go into manage plugins and find moon animator and just activate it. If it's not activated already, just activate it. Okay, and after you do, restart Roblox Studio, and it should be here. Now, to animate, there's two type of animations. One is a rig animation, right? This is a rig, right? So if I go ahead and insert my character, and then I'll go ahead and do this, right? And now I have this here that I can select, so it could be a rig animation or not. So what this means basically, when you select this, it means you can make animations so that they would show in your game, for example. So if I per se make an animation of this dude doing this, right? If I went and loaded this into my character after I finished the animation and scripted it, it would play this. Um, Anyhow, I assume the reason you would want to animate is not just for rigs. There's a lot of tutorials on how to upload rigs. I'm not really going to go too deep into the rig animation. I assume you guys just want to learn how to animate, so we want to make an animation with this and this, okay? So to make an animation, what you need to do is click on new Moon 2 file, and then you see this little plus button, you press that. And then it says here, add item. Then what you do, you click here. So here you have the properties. For characters, you have the rig, which basically is like the head, the foot, like all of this, which is basically everything that you need. You don't need anything else. So this is the character. As you can see, this is a R15. So I have multiple stuff to move. Like I can move the torso, which is basically like the center point. I can move the hands, as you can see, right? And yeah, and then go ahead and take a random part. As you can see, it doesn't have a rig this time, but it has a bunch of other stuff. Therefore, now we're just going to focus on C-frame, size, and color, which are very basic properties of the part. Now, how do you animate? How do you animate something? So here, in your Moon Animator, you have a track. As you can see, every single frame is recorded and played in a serial manner. I don't have anything for you to play now, so if I just do something like that, as you can see, it moves that way, right? That's how a track is supposed to work. You can expand it if it's too small by hovering your mouse over the edges. When they like blue, they're able to zoom out. You're able to scale it like that. Okay. Scale it as you wish. It doesn't really matter. It's just for your own preferences. Now, important settings are FPS. I don't think you would ever need anything else other than 60. Stretch is something you definitely need because, if, for example, you had something at 30 frames and you want to turn it into 60 frames per second, so double the frames, it would automatically go back to 15 because it's the half of 30. But if you don't stretch it, it's going to remain the exact same. So you need to kind of put them back. So stretch is really useful. Also, you have the priority, which is for a rig animation. It's basically whether you want it to have maximum priority or least priority. If you're going to make an animation, most of the time you need to have the maximum priority, right? So let's go ahead. After we've done all this, we can now move into the animating part, the fun part. So, what are we trying to do? We have a part, and we have a character. For example, okay, so first of all, at 0 frames is the starting frame. So, for example, if I do this, the animation starts from this point. So, pick your starting pose. So, for example, let's say we want to make an animation where the character punches this. We will need this to be in front of the character, and for you to be in a punching position, right? Also, when you want to animate, right, you select these boxes, right? Or you can select from here, it's the same thing, right? So you pick that, and then with R, you toggle between rotation and position with R, as you can see on the thing. I don't know what space does. Don't use it. I don't think it's anything that you would need to do. Anyhow, so now I'm gonna put this part in front of the character. Let's place it like here, right? Let's make the character in a punching position. So how does a punching position look? Probably with a retracted fist. So we take the arm. Actually, let's start with the torso. So if you're going to move the torso, start with that because it's important again. Because for example, if I'm trying to place the arm exactly here, then I have to move the torso. It's going to move with it. So first, you move the humanoid root part or the lower torso, okay, and then the torso, and then everything else. You can just, okay, for example, if you want to move this like the palm, you're going to first put the shoulder, then the arm, and then the hand. So you can animate easier. So the character, I think, is fine there. The torso, we would not want him to be kind of like that, you know. His his fist kind of like that, inward, perfect. Then his other arm would need to be sort of grabbing his other arm like that, perfect. And we would need it to be like that. So now this is the starting position, for example, with the character looking this way and him having retracted fists. So this already looks like he's about to do something, right? We can also move his head so it looks kind of more targeted towards the part. Perfect. And then also his legs, but I'm not really gonna do anything with the legs. But the same logic applies. You first do the shoulder, then the hand, and the palm. You first do the hips, then the leg, and then the foot. Okay. So now let's say, okay, this is 60 frames per second. So this is half a second. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. So when do we want him to, like, we want him to go a little bit more back so he can get the force, you know, he can like go backwards so he can throw the punch. Let's say that motion would last about a third, so about 26, no, 20 seconds, okay. And he would rotate a bit more, kind of downwards. Then his head would look towards the thing, kind of in a down movement, yep. His hand would be backwards, kind of like that. And this hand would just hug his other hand, that, and bam. So far this looks like this. So as you can see, he's going backwards to get momentum, correct? That's how it looks. By the way, important detail, if you want to hide like the blue parts and the moon animator track, Control H, and then you can still play your animation to see how it looks. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Shift space deactivates all the tracks, as you can see. Don't do that. Yeah, if you do this, shift space, and then nothing works, just do shift space and it's going to work, okay? Now, Control H, so we can see how this looks without any of the editing UI. It looks like he's, oh, I did the same thing again. It looks like he's basically going back to take a punch. He's stretching his obliques, his lower obliques. His head remains locked on the part, and his arm stretches backward, right? And then we want him to take a pose for like a split, like that. You know, if we want him to take a pose, we just find the stuff that we just used, right? And we press G. Okay, not G. So G is basically we get a frame of the starting, like not even anything edited. So we get the reset frames with no edits. So exactly as it started, basically. Like that. G is basically if you want to not really have a starting position except the one you have, you would, for example, select rig and G, and then you would be from the starting position, so you can start animating after. So you would use it here, so you can start animating. But in this case, we actually did our own starting position. So we go back to 25, and this time we're not going to press G, we're going to press plus, which basically copies the current state of these frames back to here. We use this when we need to have a pause between keyframes like this. So he plays the same thing, right? That's what we want. And then he's going to take the punch. It will take him around 0.15 seconds. So he would turn. Oh, okay, this is where we use it, by the way. We do this. Press G, so he's back to the original state, correct. And then we can just edit him way easier now. His arm would be kind of like that, kind of inwards, actually kind of outwards, and then kind of in, like that's perfect. Okay. His head would be slightly tucked in like that, and looking back, with this arm kind of elevated because of the momentum, like that. Perfect. So let's see how this looks. Time for the big reveal. That looks good. So he takes back his punch and then he just throw it. Now, the key issue is that the punch itself looks weaker than this, right? Like this, it goes faster than the punch. So what we can do here is we can make his hand, right? So it would be his right hand. So bam, bam. Okay. Shift for multi-select, by the way. So like that. We would do this and drag it out slightly. So like at 50, right? Oops, at 50. So let's see how this looks now. Kind of too delayed, so it's gonna make it a bit faster. 45 would be better, I think. Let's see. Okay, that looks more natural, right? Okay, but I still think that the arm can overgo, so let's bring it a bit near. So like that. Let's see. Perfect. Okay. Now he punches, right? It looks kind of delayed, but that's how we want it to be. Just think about it. If you punch something, is your other hand gonna get knocked back at the same time. Like, are you putting as much force backwards with forward? No, it's kind of like a delayed motion, you know? So I think that's fine. Now, the collision is right here. We got this frame, so now we're going to go back here, right? And we're going to actually change that position. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to okay, so I'm going to explain in a second why I made it this way. So it kind of is going inside of it, but don't worry about it. So we're going to delete this. Delete key to delete frames if it doesn't already make sense by itself. So the starting position this time is here. Let's see it again. And now the punch lands here. So you can also basically plus it's the same thing as double clicking the thing you want to change. So now we're basically going to you're gonna do some playing around till you figure out what you want. Okay, let's see how this looks. Okay, that looks decent. I think. He punches it and then greased kind of. Okay. Yeah, this is the animation. Basically, it looks like this. You know. Now, what you can do, you can also change the color, right? We won't really need the size, okay? But you can change. Okay, can I? One. Okay. So we add the current state of the color, which is gray, and then we change it here. Okay, for you to change the color, you need to press on the keyframe, and then just right. We just want the red color, so like that. Okay, no simplification. I guess 25500 is red. So this will look something like this. Yeah, and this is how you animate. It's not something too serious, but it's just this guy punching the block and it kind of turns red because he got hit like that. It's not something too impressive, but you know, yeah. If you have any more questions, I will be happy to answer them. Just leave them down below and goodbye.